Yeah. Head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, don't know what is in me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
Some people love me, and they don't even know I have a hard time loving myself. Some people judge me, and they don't even know I have a hard time judging myself. Life gets ugly, but I got a paintbrush and paint a pretty smile on myself. Mouth stay shut even when I need help. In too deep in the water, Mike Phelps. Swimming lessons, I still got many unanswered questions. Sick of the anger, sick of depression. Wanna be grateful, count your blessings. Just give me my salad, you keep the dressing. Cause I'm cream of the crop, he paid the price, I'm worth a lot. He told me go, why would I stop? Rest on my thoughts, jump off the tire rope. D'Lo Brown with the frog splash. Leaps of faith, what I call that. If you hit my line for the old me, when I hang up on you, don't call back. I ain't gonna block my blessings, I'd rather block your number. Life taught me so many lessons, Been down bad, never under. That's breath in my lungs. Some people die young, where I come from. Woke up and gave thanks to Father and Son. Filled with the Spirit, I shine like the sun. Ghost in me, but I ain't haunted. Bad vibes, keep them, don't want it. Pride hard to swallow, doggone it. And you were really never my opponent. I ain't fighting evil, man, they hearts black. They wanted my life, told them back. Got an itch for sin, can't scratch that. Keep the truth loaded in the black gap. Just know if I said it, I'm in it, and they gon' take it back. Learn the game brighter than my granddaddy's Cadillac. Young man, old song, imagine that. Ain't in my control, gotta pray, let them handle that. God hit my line, get me to play. Roger that, game time. Alright, you hate like a running back. If you ain't catch everything I said, better run it back. Eating up this beat, break bread, where your sandwich at, y'all? Heidi, thought I was done.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the road, here we go. Yeah, at the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, hey, on a roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On a roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On a roll, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on the Frankie Candles YouTube channel. I forgot to have my hat on backwards, guys. Does anybody, any of the OGs, remember when I used to always wear my hat backwards on the stream? I don't do that anymore. I don't know why. It's not for a specific reason. But anyway, guys, I feel weird now. I just got to, oh, God. Oh, maybe we should leave it off, guys. I don't know. But anyway, what is going on, Mafia? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream. I appreciate every single one of you guys for tuning in. And Bitcoin took a little bit of a slip to the downside. Should we be worried? Are we looking for lower targets, or are we still able to push up to the higher targets that we've been looking at on the live stream for a long time? They just keep getting smashed, but we do still have higher targets. Should we still be targeting these levels, or are we going to get a bigger move to the downside? And it is kind of a loaded answer here, guys, because there are reasons to be looking lower, and we've gone over these key levels over the past couple of streams, and I am still looking for those lower levels, or I'm more interested in those lower levels. However, overall, I am still bullish. I do think we can still get to the higher targets, but we may just look for that pullback to happen first. So without further ado, guys, don't forget to smash that like button. Every 100 likes we get, it technically doesn't give you a spin on the wheel of pain and pleasure, but it will increase the amount of giveaways that we're going to do. And we're going to be talking about that 0.02 Bitcoin giveaway, guys. I'll get into that in just a minute. But if you guys want to join, we actually have a little bit of we're going to announce something probably on tomorrow's stream. But if you guys want to get into that giveaway, go to the free Discord, go to the giveaway section, and then just read the instructions in the giveaway section to get that 0.02 Bitcoin giveaway. It'll let you know everything you need to know. And then depending on what Tony says, Tony, if you want to make the announcement in the chat, you can front run me, and then I'll kind of work off your chat. If not, we'll announce tomorrow what I'm talking about. I know everybody's in super suspense now. But anyway, with all that being said, thank you all for tuning in. Smash that like button. Shout out to Dave Digital. Shout out to Wick589 making some wild comments in the chat. You had me cracking up, bro. There's that nerd emoji. You guys are like, where are the glasses? Guys, I actually tried the glasses on one time. It just it didn't feel right, so I just got LASIK. I'm just kidding. I didn't. My glasses are just not here. But shout out to that new emoji. Actually, Tony, we should rework that one. I can't even really make out what that is. But I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm getting old. But anyway, guys, shout out to Wick589. Shout out to Dave Digital. What is going on? We got ADD Dad in the chat. What is going on? Good to see you, brother. We got Jesse Welsh. What is going on, bro? Good to see you. Emax, what is going on? Welcome in. Let's see who else we got. I'm My Hero said, maybe you need glasses. Maybe. Hang on, let me put them on here. Oh, they're not in there. Unbelievable. And Mrs. Candles just left. So I can't even put them on, guys. Whatever. We'll do it. We're flying blind tonight, guys. So if I say Bitcoin's going up and it goes down, blame it on the glasses. But anyway, with all that being said, we got Jimmy OD in the chat. Said, what up, Frankie? LFG. What is going on, Jimmy? Thank you for tuning in. We got Crypto Billy, the legend, in the chat. Or should I say the GOAT, the Billy GOAT in the chat. Shout out to Crypto Billy. Thank you for being here. And not only that, bro, but thank you for everything that you do for the channel. And if you guys are interested in checking out Billy's Twitter Spaces, Billy Goat Tales, every Tuesday at 9 p.m. on X. Definitely go check that out. Local 11, thank you so much for that super chat, bro. He says, finally giving Mrs. Candles a ring. Shout out to Local 11. I don't. Are you saying I finally did, or are you saying do it finally? Shout out to Local 11. She is out of the house. Maybe we could plan it. I don't think she's out. She's out. I think she went to work out. But yeah, maybe we can plot. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Maybe we should. I don't know. We'll come back to that. But yeah, maybe we could plot while she's gone. But anyway, shout out to Local 11. Thank you so much for that super chat. Chemistry, bro. Crypto Billy. We got Crypto A9. You guys know who the mods are. Show them some love in the chat. And without further ado, guys, we got to cover this Bitcoin because we finally got to move down. And I want to talk about it. So let's go ahead and jump right into the price action. Let's get it. So here we are, guys, and Bitcoin dumped, and now it's probably going to go to zero. We came down, let's see, we came down about... Come on with this dang thing. Okay, yes, we came down about 7%. You know what that means. The bear market's back. We're going to zero. Shorts only. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding, obviously. But, we did get this move to the downside, and I want to talk about this because there were some things that we were looking at on the chart yesterday. You guys will remember, as I've been kind of like relentlessly bullish, just like every time we hit a higher target, we just look to the next target and say, this one's probably going to get hit as well. But last night on the stream, I was kind of letting you guys know, we're getting a lot of mixed signals, and I do have more of like a neutral outlook on Bitcoin in the short to medium term, right? Longer term, or I should say just the short term, right? The medium term, over the next few weeks and months, I do see those higher targets still getting hit. There's nothing on the charts that's making me like flip macro bearish, but I am like a little bit more neutral in the short term, potentially looking for the pullback here. And you guys can see we do have the Frankie Candles Essentials by Lux Algo. This is my personal indicator. Now, I didn't code it myself. I don't want to take all the credit. Shout out to Lux Algo. They did all the real work, but they just worked with me to kind of incorporate my trading style into one easy to use indicator. And we had this value area, right? Now, this is, I just want to be clear, if you guys see me using the Frankie Candles Essentials indicator, and you, if you don't have it, it's 100% free. Just search it in TradingView and add it to your chart. But if you're not using it, or you prefer to use the regular volume profile, or what have you, just understand that these volume profiles that I am pulling on my indicator are really the same exact volume profiles that you're pulling on the stock default volume profile. So just keep that in mind. I don't want anyone thinking like, if you're not using my indicator, you're going to get different levels or anything. For the most part, is exactly the same, but you are not going to get these saucy confirmation signals, and you're also not going to get the auto-populating fibs, as well as some of the other features that we have built into this indicator. However, the bottom line here is, actually, you know what I'm going to do here? We'll just look at this, right? So we had this volume profile, and this was one of the main profiles that we were looking at. We were also looking at this more local profile up here, and not only last night were we looking at some potential bearish signals. Number one, not only were we, coming up to resistance here, now, well, this happened earlier today, but not only were we kind of lingering around this value area high, however, we also had some things on Market Cipher that were potentially calling a move to the downside, right? And these are things that we've been looking at, over the past few streams. However, we haven't really been putting much weight on them as we are in a strong bullish move. However, I believe yesterday, what was yesterday? Yesterday was the 13th. So I believe during stream time, guys, we actually started to get some green dots here, not only on the 16-hour, but also the 12-hour. And then as soon as the stream ended, we wound up just getting those green dots, not swallowed. These green dots wound up getting stepped on. Not sure why I confused that, but the green dots got immediately stepped on by red dots printing right after. And this is what I like to call a VWAP flop. This is where you see the VWAP on Market Cipher B peak above that zero line just barely. You can like almost not see it. You peak above, and then it just rips right back to the downside. Now, this is essentially makes that green dot a false signal. And, we have been playing kind of the red dot, green dot game. You can see, right here as well, you got red dot, green dot, red dot, red dot, green dot, red dot. And when you start to see this happen, obviously there's a lot of mixed signals as well. And, this could also indicate some, consolidation right now. Obviously, we are trending up here. However, we were going over yesterday how, like, this is part of the reason why I was feeling very neutral was because, any of the bullish and bearish signals we were getting, everything's just getting stepped on. The market is kind of like, doesn't know what it wants to do. So that's kind of why I was leaning a little bit more neutral. And then you come on over to the daily, and at the time, right, we had our VWAP was actually coming up towards that zero line on the daily, potentially looking to give us a green dot. So when you see that on Market Cipher B with a 16-hour and a 12-hour green dot, that's typically a pretty bullish sign. But because we saw a lot of mixed signals come up in the previous price action, that's kind of what made me lean a little bit more neutral yesterday. And, on top of that, we also looked at the 4-hour bearish divergence. This was kind of like the main thing that we were looking at as a, sign of weakness. I don't want to say like a local sign of weakness, not that we're about to get a big breakdown here, but just as a local sign of weakness. Not only do you have kind of this local bearish divergence, which is actually marked out by the Frankie Candles Essentials indicator, but you can see here we have higher highs on our price action with our lower highs on our momentum waves, giving us that bearish divergence, right? So as we were looking at this, let me actually take my indicator off the chart, and let's go ahead and, what is this? This is the Bitstamp chart. Let's pull up the Bybit chart, right? Because this is what we've been looking at. Now, This is what we were looking at yesterday. And again, right, we were kind of lingering around the top of the volume profile. And if you come to the 4 hour, this was kind of like the main thing that was making me like not just like senselessly bullish. And, potentially looking for that push to the downside was that 4 hour bearish divergence, right? Simply put, higher highs, lower highs, and like now we have the now we have the money flow also starting to curve off to the downside as well, with our VWAP curving back up. So, again, not necessarily a signal that we're about to get a huge breakdown, but when you get these bearish divergences on the 4 hour, this was part of the reason why we were looking not only for a pullback, but also a reason why we were showing the other key levels that I was looking at for bigger long positions that are much lower. Excuse me. We were looking at these much lower support targets using the visible range volume profile. Let me pull up the VPVR real quick. You guys can see, basically, let's talk about the key levels of support real quick because they remain exactly the same, right? Now, obviously, you do have local levels. These little scalps are obviously only interesting if you're trading those lower time frames as a scalper. But for the longer term, day trades and swing trades, what I would be looking at, again, same levels as yesterday, right? Number one is going to be this massive high volume node with the golden pocket confluence that we have sitting down here at about $67,000. So this is like kind of key zone number one that I would be interested in, a significant bounce. However, if we wind up losing that level, the next major level that I will be looking at, I'm actually going to I'm going to change the color of this back to white, right? And reason being is because although this is likely going to act as support, it's not as strong of a level, in my personal opinion, than this level down here, closer to $62,000, which is obviously a much higher volume node. And we also do have some confluence here, I believe, with some Fibonacci levels. And it is also this little local range here. That POC of this local range flies right through here, which obviously makes sense because your volume, this high volume node is going to be lined up with this, obviously, right? It's just analyzing the candle volume, right? But with that being said, so yeah, you could say like, oh, you have a point of control and a high volume node. They're kind of like the same thing. But either way, this is going to be kind of a saucier level in my opinion, right? And then again, I believe there is some kind of, the confluence here with the 786, right? And this is from this significant swing low all the way to the high here. So, this is going to be a very saucy level. And again, we looked at these yesterday. Okay, shout out to Tony D. Go ahead and send them. What is going on? Tony D and Chemistry Bro just pulling their messages back. Shout out to you guys. Yeah, Tony, send them, and I will come back and read them for you. Let's see. Okay, gotcha. All right, anyway, before we get back to that, those are the next key levels, right? And I'm going to put these blue boxes because I know that, it is very difficult, right? We come up here and we try to show you guys like the most saucy levels we could possibly give you. And the hard part is it all depends on the context of what you're trying to do, right? If you were looking to scout this local range, simply put, this is, in my opinion, a not run of the mill, but like a textbook volume profile trade, right? And why is that? It's because as you bang bong around in your fair value, right, which is basically, where what this area between the value area high and value area low are, it's basically where buyers and sellers have agreed that that is a fair price for the asset. And, you bing bong around here, and then once you come up to the high, right, you're obviously looking for shorts at the highs, longs at the lows, and then, right, longs at the lows, and then, this was another local range. It's obviously kind of broadened as we've moved on to the new candles and we came higher. These levels obviously move up and down depending on the price action. However, this is kind of a basic range trade, right? And if we actually use the Frankie Candles Essentials indicator, this is where basically what I am doing is I am looking at the volume profile, and you want to look for your actual confirmation signals, right? Let me get rid of these brushes. So you come up, you look for, this is letting you know that you do have a divergence with potential money flow coming out, letting you know this is probably going to be somewhat of a significant top. And then what happened? You came back up, you actually swing failed that level, and then you get the big move down to where? You get sucked back into your volume profile. You're then looking to go to your POC and then your value area low. And let me actually just take off the default profile here just to clear things up a bit. Where is it? Let me pull it. We'll just rock with this. Okay, so simple range trade, right? Simple value area trade. You come up, you get your confirmations, you get sucked back into the range, you look to go to the value area low, and that is exactly what we got. And shout out to the premium Discord. Actually did. Now, I want to be fully transparent. I am no longer in this trade. I did not hold it all the way down, but it was meant to be a very, very small scalp trade. We did put that short setup. I was kind of letting the Discord know, like, guys, I'm very tempted to put in a head short here because of the 4-hour bearish divergence, and also at that time last night, almost as soon as we got off the live stream, that green dot on the 16-hour got swallowed up by the red dot. And at that point, I went into the premium Discord and said, hey, guys, I know I'm neutral, but I am tempted to hedge short here because that green dot on the 12 and the 16-hour has now been swallowed by a red dot, and we now have the not only 4-hour bearish divergence printing, but we also had the 15-minute money flow coming to the downside. And as you guys know, we like to use that 15-minute 4-hour kind of strategy, right? With the red dot on the 4-hour, with the 15-minute money flow crossing into the red at the same time. You can see that money flow crossover happened right here, right before the big move down. Now, this is literally a textbook example of how I like to use this strategy. I don't enter trades solely based off of this strategy, but oftentimes, this is why I say, hey guys, we have a red dot on X time frame. If we see that money flow crossover into the red on X lower time frame, that's where I expect the move down to begin. And this is a perfect example. You print the red dot on the 4-hour, you come down to the 15-minute, money flow starts crossing over into the red. This is letting you know that that trend within the context of the 15-minute is likely to continue to the downside. So this is part of the reason why I was putting that short setup in there. I took it, I micro scalped it, right? I jumped in, I got in, and I jumped right out. I grabbed my money and I jumped out. And then, most of the time I will let a position like that run. But again, because of the super bullish environment that we're in, I decide, and because I am expecting higher prices, in the medium term, I wasn't really looking to hold that to zero. Granted, would that have been a great decision? Absolutely. Hopefully some of the mafia in the kitchen were able to hold it. But me personally, I did not hold it. I'm not going to sit up here and pretend like I'm in the trade if I'm not, right? But still a winning trade, still made the money, just, missed out on some extra gains. And I want to be very clear. I feel nothing. When I woke up and I saw price dumping, sure, in my head, I'm like, oh man, I should have just kept that short open last night. I knew it was going to come down, and that's it. And then I'm over it, right? I just think like, okay, cool, noted. And then I move on, right? I'm not sitting here like, oh my God, I got a FOMO short now. I got a revenge trade. Oh my God, no. I sit there, I wait for price to do something that is identifiable, and gives me more of a clear signal to take a trade, and then I take the trade. So with that being said, beautiful 15-minute, 4-hour kind of play out there with the money flow crossing over into the red. So not only did you have the 4-hour bearish divergence, but you also had the red dot with the 15-minute money flow coming out, and on top of the 16 and 12-hour red dots, stepping on those green dots. I want to be very clear about why I was anticipating this move to the downside. Shout out to Tony D. Let's see. Okay, go ahead, Tony. Go ahead, run it. I got you. But I want to be clear about why I was anticipating that move down, right? Because we don't just like look at price action, wait for it to dump, and then as it's dumping, be like, oh my God, we're bearish, right? There are reasons why we anticipate these moves. And unfortunately, this is kind of funny. In the premium Discord, I was letting everybody know, I was sending screenshots saying, looking at the context of this volume profile, saying, at the time, I got you, Tony. I paused the chat. But at the time here, volume profile, we were hanging out up here, and I was saying, hey, if we get sucked under this value area high, we can look for the larger range to fill to the low. And I even drew it out like this. And it was like something like this would be absolutely beautiful. And I basically drew out like a value area trade where you come down to the value area low, deviate, and then get a move back into the range. And it's exactly what we saw happen. And it's not because I predicted it, right? There's many times where I think something's going to happen and it doesn't happen. But it is just funny. I do this stuff, right? Like, not that it was a mistake, but I'm not perfect either, guys, right? Like there were, we can go back into Discord and look at the setups. There was reason for me to look for a short here. I took the short. I just closed it early. But it's important because this is the stuff that will wreck people's accounts. I did not FOMO. I did not FOMO in at the value area low. Like when you get up in the morning and you see the dump happening, and you're at the value area low, I'm not going to short this. Granted, we did come down a little bit lower, but then we got a pretty heavy bounce, right? That's a very dangerous thing to do. So with that being said, let me just cover Tony's chats here. Okay, so shout out to Tony D. This is the announcement we were going to make. And basically, we were made aware of the issues with U.S. Mafia members signing up for certain exchanges. They no longer allow new U.S. accounts to be created. This prevents people from even being able to get into the dining room, right? Because if you can't sign up with any of the exchanges because you can't make a new account, then you just can't win the Bitcoin. And he said, so what we're doing is the current giveaway is not changing, right? So you still get into the dining room. That giveaway remains exactly the same. But since Golden is a golden human being, absolutely, he is matching this giveaway. And next week, we are giving away another 0.02 Bitcoin. Everybody can enter, right? So we're just going to make it where, like, you could just enter. And details on that will happen. The one thing that is going to be true for whether you enter the first one that we were doing or the new one, you have to be in the live stream. So for the new one that everyone can enter, if you're tuned into the live stream tomorrow night, that's when I'll say, hey, everybody in the stream right now, if you want to win 0.02 Bitcoin, go here, do that. That's how you enter. It'll be a quick little probably button push, and then you'll get in to enter. So there you go, guys. So now we're giving away 0.04 Bitcoin. So heck, we were like, hey, some people can't get in. You know what? Screw it. We'll just make another one. So there you go. Double the free Bitcoin. Let's go. Shout out to Golden the Goat and Tony D for dropping those chats. Yo, shout out to thank you for the super chat. Shout out to Pennywise says Golden is the true good fella. Absolutely blasting that golden emoji. Drop it in the chat, guys. Shout out to Golden. You are a gem, my friend. You were an absolute gem. All right, let's see. Tony T said Frankie Candles perfectly executed. So there you go, guys. I do like to go back and show you guys why we expect these moves down because I want you guys to catch these even if I'm not live, right? If I'm not making a video or I'm not live or I'm not in the Discord, you guys can see this stuff happen as well, right? So simply put, textbook stuff. And we can even look at the 4-hour here, right? Let me go back a bit more here, right? So you come here. Your 4-hour bear div starts to print as you start getting a dip back into the range. And at this point, I'm looking at price action saying, hey, VWAP coming down. Money flow is trending out on the 15-minute. I have that 4-hour red dot, and not only a red dot, but a 4-hour bearish divergence. So the thought process is if we get back into this range, we could dip down to the low. And what happens? You wait for the 15-minute money flow crossover into the red. You get the SFP up here, which is another beautiful entry. If you weren't looking at any of the things I just mentioned, you could have just traded the SFP of the highs here, and you would have gotten an absolute entry at the top. And what happens? You come down, back into the range. 15-minute money flow crosses over into the red, giving you a perfect entry right before the dump. And then, as you would expect, price just absolutely dumps down, not only to the POC, gets a little bounce, but then, as you would expect, comes back down to the value area low. And just so you guys know where we actually bounced off of, this was a level that we were looking at this morning in the premium Discord. We had our golden pocket 786 down here for a full retracement of this entire move up. And we wound up coming down, getting a little bounce off the golden pocket. And then, of course, you got to go down and hit that 786. And now we are starting to see a little bit of a bounce back to the upside. And the real question is, now as we get accepted back into this value area, are we likely to come back up to the POC and the value area high and potentially beyond? And to answer your questions, or to answer that question, I will say money flow does potentially point back to the downside. But we have to keep in mind, guys, that with the bullish environment that we're in, I wouldn't be so shocked if we just get a random rip to the upside. So, in a bull market like this, I am always anticipating these shocking pumps to the upside, right? Because a lot of times that will happen. That's why I'm always saying be greedy with the longs and conservative with the shorts. Tight stop losses on the shorts, and you are just holding these longs, or I am personally just holding these longs for everything they're worth. So as of right now, if we get this continued bounce, and to be honest, it is nice that we have. It is nice that we've gotten the 786. We did slip it quite a bit here. That's not that beautiful, to be quite honest with you. We did also put in a lower low here on the wick. So if we do continue down, simply put, if we do continue down, which you could argue money flow is pointing towards, right? Money flow coming out on the 3-hour, money flow coming out on the 1-hour. Now it's kind of coming back up into the green, but you got to be careful with the bing bonging up and down here. But you do have some money flow coming out here. The reason I am kind of more open, not more open to a move up, but the reason I'm just not looking for more downside, because I'll be quite honest with you guys, when we see something like this with a bearish divergence, money flow coming out on the 4-hour, oftentimes this marks a significant top, right? Simply put, bearish divergence with money flow coming out on market cipher B specifically. I know other indicators have have money flow. When I'm talking about money flow, I'm typically referring to market cipher, just to be clear, because money flow is not the same on everything. So if you're looking at money flow, I don't want people to get confused, right? But when you see these 4-hour bear divs, and you get that money flow coming out, oftentimes that's the mark of some kind of a significant top. Now, I'm not saying like the bull market's over, we're going down to 5K, but it is some kind of a legitimate top and could call for more downside. So with that being said, I am still open to more downside, but if you look at the daily, right, this VWAP is something I'm going to pay attention to very, very closely in the next day or so, right? Because if this VWAP starts yanking back to the upside, that could be the inkling that we need to say, hey, it is a bull market. That green dot's about to print on the daily, and we are likely to go to higher prices. However, on this next candle confirmation in about an hour and 45 minutes, if we just see this thing start continuing down, that is going to be more indicative of a continuation to the downside, which would agree with the lower time frame money flow. And this in a sideways market, or even like a bearish market, is a much more clear bearish signal. Because I always say this, right? In a bull market, which we are in right now, you're going to spend more time in the green with money flow than you are in the red. And I'm not going to do it, but we go back all the time, and we go back test that, right? I mean, we can. I'm not going to. I'm not going to waste the time. But, even just this move up in general, look how much more time we've spent in the green. Spend a bunch of time in the green, fake out into the red. Bunch of time in the green, little fake out into the red, a little bit of a bigger fake out, but then you spend all this massive time in the green. So for that reason, I am being much more careful about if this VWAP comes up and prints a green dot, we could just see this money flow come back up. So again, we are still respecting the bulls while also being open-minded to a pullback. And I know a lot of people out there, if you're not a trader, you might be thinking to yourself, well, so you're saying to go up or down? Absolutely, I am saying that. Right? That is the point. Yes, I am expecting it. I'm neutral right now. So what I'm going to do is react off the key levels, right? So we came up to this key level, even though I was neutral last night. We got more bearish confirmations locally. We looked for the short to the downside. As you come down, we analyze the key levels, and we look for the trades, right? So at this point, if we do continue down, which we'll talk about some local levels of resistance and some confluence that we have within this range, that could be likely to put in the lower high and give us the bigger move to the downside. But if we do come down, guys, simply put, I'm not really interested in another big long position. Now, not that we can't take scalps, but the next big long position I will be looking at is going to be $67,000, where we just looked at the high volume node, etc. If we break that, we do have this level down here, same level as yesterday. It's about 65K, value area high, golden pocket confluence. This is not as strong, in my opinion, because the volume doesn't support this level as much as it supports 62K, right? The volume is saying, sure, you have a value area high in a golden pocket, but look at the volume gap, right? So chances are, in my opinion, if we lose 62K, we're likely to travel through this. And maybe we get some kind of a bounce off here. Maybe the real bounce happens here. We have to analyze price as it approaches the level. But if we come down here, I would expect some kind of a bounce, but I would much prefer to come down here to this massive high volume node. Because again, guys, price is attracted to these high volume nodes, right? You can see we bounced perfectly off of this one about 2 times, right? And then we bounced off this one already beautifully 1 time. And this is just how price works, right? So if we do come down, I would generally anticipate push down here. Definitely looking for a bounce on 67K. We come down, maybe we get a bounce on 65, but then I'm really looking for some saucy long positions at about $62,000, and more specifically between 62.3 and 61.91. So there you go. And then below that, we do have some other targets, but I'll cover those as if we do wind up continuing down, we will cover those. But as of right now, locally, as long as at this point, what happened? We slipped the value area low. We put in some local bullish divergences on lower time frames. You can see here we have a nice 24-minute bullish divergence with your lower lows on price action, higher lows on your momentum waves. As we were slipping that 786. and then we got that bounce, and now we are potentially trying to get sucked back into this value area. So as of right now, short term, if we are able to sustain support above this value area low, we're going to be looking up towards that value area high, and POC and value area high. So just simply trading this as a range. Doesn't mean that we're guaranteed to stay above here and go to the high. But it's not until we lose this value area low again decisively that we could potentially see a bigger move to the downside, right? And you can see the same thing here. You get the move down, right? You get the nice little bounce. You get back into the range. You play around a little bit. You get acceptance, back to the POC, back to the value area high. And just for the record, if we pull up the Frankie Candles Essentials, we do indeed, right? This is not a buy signal. This is not a trading signal, right? But when you take a look at here at the Frankie Candles Essentials, hang on. Let me get rid of the. Let me get rid of these. Hang on. So let me just re-pull this real quick. Come on. Boom. Okay. So if you pull the Frankie Candles Essentials, right? Typically, what we look for here. This is the old one. Hang on. Bada boom. Bada bing. Okay. So when we pull this, you can see we have the confirmation signal. Now, what this is telling us is this is telling us not only we have a bull div, but it is also letting us know that this is one of those bullish divergences as we deviate outside of that, outside of this volume profile, letting us know this could be a significant bottom, and it could be potentially likely that we are going to get back into the range and continue at least up to the POC, if not the value area high. Doesn't guarantee it, but you can see here, you print the sauce can. Did we go down immediately? No, we came up one last time, but in hindsight, it did know that this was going to be a significant top. You're printing the bearish signals as you deviate outside of the volume profile. This is how we trade, right? Simply put, you pull your trade, you pull your volume profile, you wait for price to deviate, you look for your bearish confirmations, and this indicator just does it for you. And again, this is 100% free. There's no strings attached. You don't have to sign up for anything. You just go to TradingView, Frankie Candles Essentials, click on it, add it to your chart. No questions asked, right? But that is... we do have that sauce can, right, which is, indicative of a strong bounce, and look at that bounce. So, again, I am somewhat neutral right now, guys, to be quite honest with you, but I am still holding my longs, right? I am still mostly long biased in the medium term, but short term, let's talk about the next resistances above and where we could potentially put in a lower high before getting a bigger move to the downside. So let's go ahead and pull some of these Fibonacci retracements, right? So right here, if this downtrend is going to continue, in my opinion, it is going to be most likely for it to continue and give us a rejection at this POC 786 retracement, right? Now, more specifically, I would put a little bit more emphasis on that POC golden pocket, right? Because this has more confluence than the 786 does. Sure, the 786 has, somewhat close to the value area high. In my opinion, the confluence on the golden pocket POC is a little bit stronger. But these are the two zones, right? Because sometimes you guys know, right? We talk about this all the time. When you leave a volume profile, if we were to have a breakout of this volume profile, right? A lot of times you'll get a move up, and then price will dump down to retest the POC before really getting the next big move up. We've seen this happen time and time again, especially in these big moves up. Same thing goes for the downside. When you break out of a volume profile to the downside and you come back up, typically, a lot of times you will come up and test that POC, but really you're just putting in a lower high to continue back to the downside, right? And that's oftentimes where the lower high will come in. But right now, it is kind of hard to call. But so that's why I'm kind of leaning on the levels right now, because again, it is a little bit of a wonky market right now. There's a lot of chop going on right now. And I was telling this to the premium Discord yesterday, like it's dangerous trading out there. You have to use good risk management right now. Obviously you're going to have a much better time longing the dip, right? You do not want to fight the macro trend. Keep that in mind. But that's basically what I'm looking at, right? We're just keeping the context within this volume profile, right? So let's go ahead and turn this to neutral. Let's see. Shout out to, hang on. Shout out to Ray Santos. I appreciate you, bro. He says, love your humor, bro. I told my Twitter followers to follow you. Stay ruthless, my friend. Shout out to Ray. I appreciate that, bro. Thank you so much. Thank you for the super chat, and thank you for spreading the gospel of the Candle Mafia. I really do appreciate you. I'm not just saying that because you sent me a super chat. I really do appreciate that. It makes me feel good as a human. It makes me think that maybe we're doing good stuff over here. So shout out to you, man. Thank you so much for that. And also, shout out to School Aid. Says, Near Protocol TA, please. Shout out to you, bro. We could definitely try to take a look at Near. But first, well, we're basically wrapped up on Bitcoin. So that is going to be, these are the key levels. And for anybody who is like trying to pull these levels on their own chart, simply put, that fib was pulled from the absolute high here. Technically, the new all-time high that we made. You know, it's pretty funny to call like this a new all-time high. But, you know, that's pulled from the high to the low. You can see the golden pocket POC, and then the 786 value area high. Those are the next levels I'd be looking at for a potential lower high to come in. And then I do just want to see something. I just want to check this $67,000 level. Let me see something really quick. Let me pull up. Let me see here. This is like more for me, to be quite honest with you guys. Yeah, okay. See, I assumed that, right? A lot of times on these big high-volume nodes, you do have naked points of control. So right here, you do have a weekly naked point of control. This is, honestly, now that I see this, this is, let me pull up this again. Come down to a lower time frame. To be honest with you guys, that makes this level, I think we may have looked at this. I don't know why this wasn't already marked out. But that makes this an even saucier level. Because you have the weekly naked point of control on top of the other stuff we looked at a little bit earlier at about $67,000. So, yeah, that makes this even saucier. To be honest, I would have really loved to come down here. This is a pretty big drop, though. And in a big bullish market like we're in right now, you don't necessarily want to be making big bets for huge pullbacks, right? So, yeah, definitely going to be the next level to watch. About $66,895 to $67,000. Weekly naked point of control is coming in at $66,895. That is a sauced out level, in my opinion. Very nice confluence. Again, stronger than this level, but similar to this level. So major levels, 62, 67, with a little side sauce of 65K. May give you a little bounce for the scalpers, right? So if you come down here, you could easily get like a 1% move off something like this, which is plenty for a scalper to make money. You know, some of the scalps that we've been taking in the premium Discord, you know, making upwards of 10% on like a 0.5% move. So you don't need a big move in the market to make a lot of money, right? Especially if you're using leverage, not as a gambling outlet. If you're using leverage responsibly and you know what you're doing, you know, you don't need big moves in the market. We talked about this the other day. Like we made 10% on tiny little moves on the 5-minute and 1-minute chart. And when you zoom out to something like the 2-hour, like like you can make 10%, guys, on this, right? This is why I love trading, because everyone wants to know the next 10x gem. But with trading, especially if you're using leverage trading, again, responsibly, you can make a 10% move on this tiny little candle right here. You can make 10% on that, right? You don't need an actual 10% move. So, and when you start looking at the markets like that from a strictly technical standpoint, you start to see money everywhere. It's really, really cool. But anyway, that's what we're looking at on Bitcoin, guys. For the most part, big things I'm looking at for a move up or a move down, daily green dot, and then all these key levels, right? If you get the daily green dot, maybe we're able to get a bigger move up. And then again, like your right now, your most key level of local support is $71,000 at the local value area low here. So there you go. All right, let's see. Elite Ways EC says says long and hold. Ditto. Let's get it. All right, let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Shout out to $5 for BTC. Says, hey, Frankie, thank you for all the hard work. I've learned so much from you. Bing bong. Can you check Digo? I think it has a lot of potential. I bought 2.343. Thanks. Beautiful cup and beautiful cup pattern on the higher time frames. Let me try to write that down. What is that? Digo. Not Diego, but Digo. Okay, yeah, we could try to take a look at that for you, brother. But with that being said, guys, that's what we're looking at on Bitcoin. But if you guys want to see some of your favorite alts, go ahead and spam them in the chat. And Rob the Crypto Snob will count up the votes and let us know what we're looking at. And in the meantime, while Rob is hacking the mainframe trying to count up these votes, let's go ahead and take a look at Ethereum, or Erythrium, as I like to call it. But anyway, let's see here. So Ethereum is very interesting. I'm actually going to pull up the kitchen chart here real quick for ETH, or maybe not. Hang on. Is this the chart that I want to show? Let's see. No, it's not. It's this one. Yeah. Shout out. Yo, shout out to the kitchen, man. Shout out to the premium Discord. This was this is textbook. This was the long zone on ETH yesterday, looking to come back down to the value area low. Not only do we have a local value area low, but we also had this macro value area low, right? You have your local range here. Let me tighten it up a bit for you guys. Bada boom. God, I just like, guys, sometimes it blows my mind that I get to like do this for a living, like teach this. It's like the most magical thing ever. It's like, I am such a nerd. I geek out about the charts and like how cool it is to be able to like try to predict when things happen. And like when you see this stuff play out, it's like the coolest thing in the world. And the fact that I get to share this with other people and get them to geek out on charts with me is the coolest thing in the world. I literally feel like the luckiest person. But simply put here, guys, what I'm looking at on Ethereum, right? It's all volume profiles. This is the key, guys. This is the sauce. Now, it's not the end-all, be-all. Like, you're not just going to use volume profiles and be instantly profitable. You still have to go through the hardships of becoming an actual profitable trader, which is not for the faint of heart. But, what are we looking at here? We have multiple levels of, not confluence, but context. You have your macro volume profile, and we've been looking at this. This volume profile is simply pulled from the top of the bull market, right? Let me minimize this so you guys can see. I pulled this local range from the top of the bull market, and we extrapolated that over to the right, to our current price action. And when we zoom into our current price action, we can then see, right? We can, and let me go into bar replay mode, because this is how we do it. This is how you do it. I don't know why I'm like this, guys. I apologize. But let's hide the local profile. Right? And then we're just looking at this macro profile. And again, we're showing everything. This is where I got it from, the top of the bull market, right? As price approaches this level, you would expect resistance. But once you're able to get above here, you're looking for a fill to the POC. Price action gets a little bounce, goes and tests that previous value area high. You get back into your range at this point, as long as you're holding support, which this is the 10 hour, so you'd have to zoom in to see. But for the sake of this example, I'm going to stay on this time frame. You get back into the value area low. Simple. Now I'm only paying attention, not only paying attention to, but now I'm focusing on this range, right? Because I know now that we're back above this value area low, as long as we hold above it, we are likely to go to the POC and potentially the value area high. Simply put, you hold support, and where do you go? Right to the value area high. Sure. Is it clean? I mean, this one was actually pretty clean, but it's, you're going to have ups and downs, right? Like, this is what is going to shake out a lot of traders. But if you can just delete the noise and pay attention to the target and why you're expecting price to go there, this is what can give you the confidence to say, I know we're pulling back, but I'm not going to panic close my longs. I'm waiting for my target to get hit. And then here, you might have really thought like, oh my God, maybe I should have just closed the long. Wait. And then, even here, let me hide this volume profile. Even here, you're like, oh my God, we're losing the left. No, you're waiting for the POC to get hit. And you come up and you tap it, right? So with that being said, you have the larger volume profile. So we get above that POC. Potentially, we could see Ethereum go to between 43.30 and about 44.30. So that's the next key level. Not only a value area high, but it also has golden pocket confluence. So the value area high is going to act as a magnet, sucking price up, and then the golden pocket is kind of giving you that extra resistance. Now, obviously, this is in the longer time frames. But if you come down to a local time frame, this is where you can break things down to smaller and more local TA, right? And then this was, let me go ahead and hide this. Let's go back. We'll just let this play out. So yeah, and then this was the same thing. I technically shorted ETH last night. I didn't even short Bitcoin. For a very specific reason I'm not going to get into right this second. But simply put, guys, what is happening here? We've deviated above the volume profile, right? Sure, we came back in once. We came back out. What are we getting out here? Bearish confirmations, higher highs on your price action into a key level of resistance, which is your macro POC of the range. You come up, higher highs on your price action. I mean, this is just the 24-minute. Lower highs on your momentum waves. You tap to key level. And you come back down. Once you get accepted back into this range, you're expecting the value area low. And this is literally a screenshot that I had meant to send to the Discord, and I just sent the screenshot without the drawings. Super, super annoying because it doesn't always play out exactly when we draw the lines, but it always is fun when it happens. And I actually accidentally sent the wrong screenshot. But anyway, as you guys know, obviously, we did wind up getting stuck underneath that volume profile at some point, and we got to move where? To the POC and the value area low. And then what are you doing as you come down to the value area low? Simply put, you're looking for the opposite of what we looked for at the high. You're looking for bullish divergences, or it doesn't have to be divergences, but you're looking for bullish confirmations at the value area low. That's why we had this blue box as our long zone, right? And then what happens? You come down, you get the bullish divergences, lower lows on price action, but your momentum is flying back to the upside. What is this letting you know? You may have a bounce indeed likely to occur here. And what happens? Bing bong, beautiful little long entry at the bottom of the range. And then as we flip this POC to support, right now locally, we could potentially expect, the value area high to get hit. Doesn't guarantee that we're going to see that, but as long as we maintain above the POC, we could see the value area high. If we lose this value area low decisively, that's where we look for a bigger move down. But right now, we are simply within the context of this range. If we break out to the upside, where are you going to look? Creighton C, let them know where we're going to look. On this chart, where are we looking if we break that value area high locally? Creighton C. I think Creighton's here today. Creighton? Someone will do it. Wick? There we go. Shout out to Hodl. Hodl Crypto says POC. It's circled right here, guys. Simply put, when you go from the value area low, POC, to the value area high of your local range, and you need another target, you simply zoom out and look at the context of the bigger range. You can even hide your local range, right? Just hide all this. Just be like, okay, I'm out of this range. Now I'm looking in context of the bigger range. If we flip that POC, then we can go to the value area high. It's all volume profileception, guys. All about identifying the important ranges and then just using those as context. I said this last night in the Discord. I was like, guys, you can't make this up. Like you literally can't make it up. The volume profile is your roadmap to where price is going to go. And if you can't pull a profile on if you're in something like this and you can't pull a profile, go down to a lower time frame. And then pull a profile on a lower time frame where you can actually find a range. And sometimes you can't, right? Sometimes price just screams up and you don't have any ranges to look at. And in which that case, it's a no trade zone for me, right? So with that being said, as of right now, guys, I would be looking in context of this larger profile. 37.57, absolute key support. If you lose this, you're likely to get a much bigger move to the downside. In my opinion, we could talk about where you're likely to stop off in a minute. And then again, you obviously have your local range, right? Right here. So you could use these as like intermediary scalp levels, but if you're just looking for the longer term hold, you can look at the more macro levels, right? So you can hold this potentially anticipating the value POC and value area high, but you have to understand there are those local volume profile levels that will probably give you resistance. Maybe you come back down. They'll give you a little bit of turbulence, but at the end of the day, you can basically come back to this larger profile, and that will likely be the roadmap that you followed. So that's what I'd be looking at on Ethereum. So value area low at 37.57. You lose that, probably going lower. POC would be a higher target, in my opinion, at about $4,074. And then other than that, your local volume profile. Whoops. Let me hide that long position. Your local volume profile gives you a value area low of, I won't even give you the value area low because it's so close to the macro. Local POC at 38.74, local value area high at 39.94. But over time, guys, the next bigger target for Ethereum, in my opinion, is about $44,000 to $46,000, and that's why we have them on the charts. These are more swing trade. Like, these are levels where I'm more interested in potentially looking for bigger positions, whereas, these local ranges are kind of where I'm just getting into scalps. In and out, jumping in, grabbing my bag, and dipping, right? Got to be, with the little scalps, you got to take what you're given, right? Because you'll know, if you've ever traded the 1 minute time frame, it is easy to get chopped up. But especially if you're not paying full attention. So there you go. But that is what I'm looking at on Ethereum, guys. As far as market cipher, very, 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 very similar to Bitcoin, right? You had the 16-hour red dot. This actually confirmed the day before yesterday. But you have the confirmed 16-hour red dot. We also had money flow coming out on the 1 hour, right? Like these money flow crossovers with the corresponding higher time frame red dots, right? The 4 hour, 15 minute, the 16 hour, 1 hour, right? You got that red dot on the 16 hour. Once that 1 hour money flow crosses over into the red, oftentimes the move down starts shortly after that. So there you go. And if you guys are wondering about the micro scalp that I took, which is funny, right? Because it's a high leverage micro scalp. So it doesn't even matter. I believe, was it here? I believe it was here. But yeah, it was. I believe it was like a local confirmation in here on the much lower time frames. But again, I think I took. I think I took 10%. I think I took 10%. But again, just goes to show you do not need a big move, right? I think maybe it was 8%. Maybe it was either 11 or 8% or something like that. But again, happened within these tiny little moves, right? You don't need this gigantic move to make profit if you know how to trade the lower time frames. But there you go. Those are simply going to be the levels I'm looking at for ETH. And obviously, sentiment is very similar to Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin dumps. Obviously, ETH is likely to follow. All right, let's go ahead and continue on here. That was Ethereum. Thank you, Rob the Crypto Snob, for getting those alts lined up for us. Let's go ahead and take a look at our next altcoin. Let's see. Rob says Ada Gala. Well, he didn't say it. Well, I guess he did say it. Ada Gala, ICP, AMP, AVAX. A lot of A's in there. Rob, are you biased towards the cryptos that start with A? Rob, I did not know you were a big A fan like that, man. Shout out to Rob the Crypto Snob. Tomorrow, we're going to be looking at all the coins that start with X. I'm just kidding. Shout out to Rob the Crypto Snob. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much. Let's see. Let's check in on chat real quick. Max, shout out to Tyler Durden. Okay, let's see. Shout out to Crypto Billy says show chess. Let's go. Shout out to Mrs. Candles. Mrs. Candles was sad when she got home today. She's just having a bad day, and she said, I said, oh, somebody in chat said, I forget exactly who it was. Someone said, I need Frankie to hold me and tell me everything's going to be okay. And Mrs. Candles walked into the room, and she's like, I want you to do that to me. Shout out to Mrs. Candles. I did it. But anyway, let's go ahead and continue on. All right, let's take a look at ADA, or ADA, or Cardanzo, as our boy James Kramer would say. All right, let's take a look here. Let's take a look at the Coinbase chart, potentially. What is our actual ADA chart? Bada boom, bada bing. All right, I guess we can just pull up. We'll look at the Binance chart. Okay. Let's hide this. Bada boom. Okay. So overall, guys, I'm going to do like the longer term analysis on Cardano. I believe this is a clean chart. Yes. Actually, no. Let's pull up our actual chart here. So look at that. No surprise here, right? No surprise here. Cardano attracted to the weekly naked point of control. Let me come down to a lower time frame. And we could probably get rid of these. These are pretty. I could probably redraw these levels. Boom. I mean, once again, doorway to higher prices, right? Value area low, looking for it to fill for the POC to the value area high. You get above that level, bing bong, right to the value area high. Then you get the cool off, and now we obviously have gotten a pretty decent breakout. So let me go ahead and I'll actually clear these levels, and we'll find new levels. So I'll get rid of this. I'll get rid of this. I'm actually just going to clear the whole dang chart, right? I don't think we have much here. I'll keep some of it. We'll just hide it all. Okay, so let's take a look here. For Cardano, what I would be looking at, let's take a look at the daily. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there we go. At Tony D, I don't know how active. I mean, I know you're always in chat, but I know you're always got a million things going on. But if you are watching, peep my volume profiles and how long they take to load here. But anyway, for Cardano, guys, take a look at the daily. We do have a green dot confirmed. It's kind of hard to take anything away with that, right? It's like kind of looks like it might want a VWAP flop, but it's just too soon to tell. You have money flow coming up. I wouldn't really take much from this other than there is a green dot on the daily. I would take that more bullish than anything, even though the VWAP is flopping. You can't really, take that seriously yet until you actually get the flop. But let's take a look at the weekly. Yeah, weekly VWAP also rolling over. I mean, technically, you do have a weekly bearish divergence here. Now, obviously, guys, you do not want to, I'm not looking to short Cardano down to nothing right now, right? Like you have the higher highs, the lower highs, money flow crossover into the green, VWAP rolling over. Once you get that red dot, that is likely where I would anticipate a bigger cool off to come. But we got to wait for that green dot to print. This could take a long time to print. We could have much more upside before that actually winds up happening. And you could see that weekly bear div potentially get invalidated. So to the upside here, in the grand scheme of things, let's pull up the weekly and monthly naked points of control, right? So we do have a naked point of control sitting here at about 95 cents. This is a pretty strong level in my opinion. I can almost guarantee you that these naked points of control are going to line up with this fib pull almost perfectly. So obviously, if we wind up seeing this thing go absolutely ballistic, this is going to be a significant level to watch. Not only do you have naked points of control, but you got your golden pocket 786, and that is the macro golden pocket 786 from the high all the way to the low. So in the medium term, in my opinion, guys, could we see Cardano potentially make its way up towards this monthly naked point of control? Absolutely, in my opinion. This is a very valid level to look at. Now, it doesn't guarantee that we're going to get up there right now, but this is likely going to be the next big target, especially because it's perfectly in confluence with your value area low of your bull market range. So I'm going to do the same thing that we've been doing on a lot of these altcoins. I'm going to pull that range, bada boom. I'm going to pull the value area high, the POC, and the value area low, right? So this is the context for Cardano. And I know we've been talking about the coins that are lagging behind in their kind of pumps here. And, Cardano is not one of those coins, in my opinion. We've already gotten the breakout of the bear market range. Excuse me. I'm not going to try to pull this perfectly. We can get the general idea here. You had your bear market range. You got a breakout, a bullish retest, and then a big breakout, right? Initial breakout, bullish retest, actual higher high. So in my opinion, right, we are likely to see Cardano, whether we come down first or not, we are likely to see Cardano, get a move up towards this next level, right? Now, this is going to act as resistance at first. However, it's very exciting because we know even if we bang our head on here a couple of times, that is where we're looking to flip it to support, go to the POC, flip the POC, and then bring it to the value area high, where we also have this next key level or key zone between, I would call it, $2.50 and $2, right? So those are the next major targets I would be looking at on Cardano. But if we come on down to the lower time frames, and to be quite honest, guys, if I were looking to pick up Cardano on spot, I don't know, right, if I would be buying this right now, right? I would be waiting for a dip or looking at other coins that haven't gotten big breakouts yet, such as Atom, who is, Atom as in ADAM. But, it's breaking out, but it is a little bit further behind Cardano in my own personal opinion, right? So, I would probably want to wait for a little bit more of a pullback to buy into this or wait for a dump. But again, then you obviously risk missing the move, right? So, but either way, let's come down to the lower time frames and see if, some kind of pullback could be likely, right? So let's go ahead and hide this. And let's take a look at this little local area of consolidation where obviously we can go ahead and pull a volume profile. Bada boom, bada bing. And I could even pull some fibs here. Pull this. I will pull this. That doesn't really do much for us. Bear with me, guys, while I try to get these levels. So this is similar, right, to the level that Bitcoin just bounced off of, like where it's just like the golden pocket 786 retracement level of the last big deviation of the range. So I'll be honest, like these are probably going to be some kind of significant levels to watch. And if we can get a daily naked point of control down there, come on, give it to me. Give it to me. No, come on. Nothing. Just got nothing there. Unbelievable. Let's check a weekly. Probably not. Yeah, we got nothing. Okay, so no points of control. But you do have the goal. Yeah, not really that much confluence there, to be quite honest with you. Pull up the VPVR. Yeah, I mean, not really a lot of confluence there, to be honest with you. The saucier level, in my opinion, is that 786, right? You got the nice high volume node there. Maybe this will line up with like a more macro golden pocket potentially. Yeah, this is, there it is, right? So, I mean, we've already tapped this level. So, yeah, from the high to the low, we've already tested that. I mean, Yeah, kind of. I mean, I would definitely pay attention to this level. We would have to like really get a serious dump to come in here to come back down to this level. But this would definitely be worth watching in case we do for some reason get some kind of crazy dump. But in my opinion, this is pretty far away from the price action. So I would be more inclined to look at more local levels, in which case would be, in my opinion, right here, right? So I would be looking at this 786 with this high volume node confluence, and then maybe, just maybe, okay, so you do have a value area high here. So yeah, I would keep an eye on this like high volume node, value area high. This would be a key level in my opinion, right? Why am I not marking out the golden pocket? You could look for a bounce there, but it's just it's not, there's not as much confluence there in my opinion, right? Value area high 786. Obviously the high volume node is in line with the value area high because they're based off the same thing. But you know, this is a saucier level in my opinion than this golden pocket. But it doesn't mean don't watch the golden pocket, right? Again, if you're looking for scalps, you could easily catch scalps off, you know, bouncing off these like less important golden pockets in my opinion. So that's what I'd be looking at on Cardano. Those are some key levels to look at if you do get a bigger move to the downside. Not only that, but it's also the longer term analysis, right? So you could scalp in here, right? You know, do your low time frame trading, and then in the long term, you could watch this for your spot bags, right? Maybe you want to take a little profit when you get to the POC, value very high, etc. I'm not going to tell you where to take profits because I'm not a financial advisor, and yeah, I just don't tell people what to do with their money because I can't. And even if I could, I probably wouldn't because nobody knows if this thing's going up or down. So I don't want to say, hey, take profits, and then it takes off, and then people are like, hey, you told me to take profit. You got to make your own decisions. I'll tell you what I'm doing, and you know what we do may or may not be right more often than it's wrong. But I will never, ever, 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 ever tell you guys what to do with your money. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Yo, I don't know what's going on in chat. Yo, shout, yo, chat's out of control, bro. The mafia is going nuts in the chat right now. Shout out to Mr. Wickles said, Frankie, be the boss of me. I'm feeling submissive. Hey, yo, shout out to Mr. Wickles. Shout out to you, bro. Shout out to you. Asher dude in the chat said, better look away, Frankie. Yeah. It's, you know, we check this chat, and you guys are always saying some interesting stuff. That is for sure. But let's go ahead and continue on. Shout out to Ghost Ninja dropping those Franklin emojis. Shout out to you, bro. But let's go ahead and continue on here, guys, and take a look at Gala. Bada boom, bada bing. Let's see. Okay, random line on the chart. Somebody make this an NFT. This is the random chart art. Shout out to all the OGs in the chat, if you guys remember when we used to do that all the time. Yeah, this is a random chart art. Somebody make it an NFT. It could be the new Bored Ape Yacht Club. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at Gala, which obviously has gotten a very large move to the upside along with the rest of the market, and we are now starting to get a little bit of a pullback, potentially even, if I do say so myself, potentially a little bit of a bear flag. I mean, a bull flag. Not a bear flag. The opposite of a bear flag. Now, again, I'm not something I'm necessarily going to trade based off of. But again, you know, typically when you see price get a move to the upside, and then it starts to do one of these, a lot of times, it is a bear flag, and you will, well, oftentimes, it will fake out to the downside and then rip to the upside. But definitely looking like some kind of bear flag there. Could get a breakout. But, you know, let's take a look here. Oh, my God. Look at the – I mean, this is a while ago, but look at the respect on that previous value area high. Twice. Bing, bong. Absolutely unbelievable. But anyway, let's take a look here. I don't think this is our most current Gala chart. Let me I don't think this is either. Let me see here. We have a lot of Gala charts. This one's super old. Maybe that is our full Gala chart. Mexi? No. KuCoin? No. All right. Well, I guess we'll look at this one. So, let's continue on here. I'll get rid of this fib. You know, not that these ranges are not useful at all anymore, but, you know, I always do like going back, right? Value area low, POC, value area high, value area low, flip it to support, POC, value area high, back to the POC, back to the high, back to the low, back to the high, breakout, right? Like these volume profiles are OP, and I will always go over this for anybody in the Mafia that may not look at the volume profiles just to kind of nudge them towards looking at them. But anyway, I'm going to leave this one here because this one will be significant if we do get a bigger move to the downside. So let's take a look at the daily, take a look at Market Cipher real quick. And yeah, so you have no daily bearish divergence. You do have a red dot confirmed, but not much more to take away. You do have your money flow crossover into the green, which would be pretty bullish as far as the continuation of the trend, right? That doesn't mean you can't continue down, but, you know, it would be more likely to look for a higher low. I would be more likely to long a dip, right, when you have money flow looking like this on the daily, rather than look for like a short down to zero. So with the money flow there, I would be expecting this trend to continue to the upside. Let's take a look at some of the lower time frames. Take a look at the 4-hour money flow looking to cross over into the red. However, your VWAP is rounding right back up, so you do have somewhat of a mixed signal here. But let's take a look at the 2-hour. Yeah, money flow, to be quite honest with you, money flow does not look good, but the price action doesn't look that bad. It's kind of interesting here. Yeah, I mean, your 4-hour green dot is looking to print somewhat soon. Looking at your 15-minute money flow, yeah. So locally, maybe you get a bounce, in my opinion. I would say that, right? If you pull your, this is a wonked out range. This is like very long to be pulling a range on, in my opinion. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see something like this. And I'm going to draw it out for you guys right now. Let's see. So yeah, I would probably... excuse me. I'm going to take this range. This is not my favorite range, but I'm going to take it, right? Because you got to take what you get. So let's go ahead and I will mark out. Come on. Let's lock it. There's your value area high. There's your POC. There's your value area low. So now you have a little bit of context locally, right? So, you know, I mean, even if we take, shout out to Lux Algo, let's pull up the Frankie Candles Essentials here, and let's pull this as our profile. We'll pull it to there. So, and let me actually delete the default. Boom. Okay. So, this is your range, right? This is the value area. Could extend that down just a tiny bit. And you've lost it, right? So you lose your range. You get the sauce can. We did come down again, though. So actually, I can come up to a little bit of a higher time frame. And then I'm going to go readjust this. Bada boom. Bada bing. So yeah. So simply put, right? Just a simple range trade. You get out of the range. You come down. You have the bullish confirmations, right? And then you get the move up. So at this point, locally, again, with the money, and the reason I say this, you might be saying, like, Frankie, like, it's too late to long this. Absolutely. 100% way too long to late. Way too long to late? Way too late to long. But with our money flow coming up on the 15-minute, at the same time as this 4-hour green dot potentially printing, looking to print, like, very soon. Yeah, you're pretty close to that zero line. You know, this could potentially make you anticipate a fill of the rest of this range, if not all the way to the high, potentially at least to the POC. And let me just go ahead and hide these fib levels real quick, just because I want to clean up the chart. But those sauce cans down here, we're letting you know, hey, you know, you're getting some kind of bullish confirmations down here, could be ready to go back into the range, go to the POC, and then back to the high. And with the 15-minute money flow and the 4-hour red green dot looking to print, that would also back up that thesis. Now, it doesn't mean you're guaranteed to come up to the value area high. Don't want anybody thinking that. But, you know, this makes me, like, watch this level like a hawk. Once we get above here and we start holding it as support, that's where you expect to fill. So those are local levels, right? Coming in, value area low at 0.065. I'm sorry, yeah, 0.0695, POC at 0.071, and then your value area high at 0.073. So locally, that's what I would be looking at. You know, I don't always trade the ranges like this. What I like to do is I like to get in on the panic, right? Like when everyone's like, oh my God, we're losing support. This is so scary. I like to try to get in on these wicks. And then by the time I'm even knocking on the door of the first level of resistance, I'm already good I'm already way in profit, right? Rather than waiting till we get back into the range to long, you eat up a lot of those gains, right? So, but there's two different ways to trade this, right? Like it's a little more risky to try to get in here, but you get a lot more money, right? You make a lot more profit. So, obviously it's going to depend on your risk tolerance, etc. But another way that you could trade these kind of like failed auctions or, just these like false breakouts to the downside or upside, you can just wait for the reacceptance into the range, then enter on the retest, and then you could look for the range to fill. But it doesn't guarantee it, right? This could easily just nuke. But as far as market cipher, that 15-minute money flow crossover, if you are going to get a move up of some kind, it would be a 15-minute play. Money flow crosses over into the green. If your 4-hour green dot is printing at the same time, I would expect at least a move to the POC. But really waiting for that final target at the value area high. Probably taking profit at the POC, though. So there you go. All right. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and move on. Shout out to Cryptic Sniper. Said, did I hear 100x long on Gala? I think you might have heard that, but it was somebody outside screaming outside my house. Everybody, all my neighbors and stuff are all into crypto, so they're always screaming 100x long Gala. It's like the whole neighborhood just yells out the window their trades. It's a new thing. It's like a trading community that you could just move in, and it's just like a bunch of crazy traders that scream out their windows their setups. I'm just kidding, guys. But anyway, let's go ahead and continue on here. Bada boom, bada bing. 12 Big. Shout out to 12 Big. Said, isn't that what led to your Matic long? Absolutely. And if you don't know what 12 Big is talking about, he's talking about the Matic long, which, by the way, I am still holding. I'm not logged into Femex right now, but I am still holding that Matic long. Hopefully it didn't go to zero yet, but it is up over, or it was up over like almost 16K yesterday. It's probably down a little bit today, but yes, I am still holding that. And yes, this was a very, very, very similar setup. Shout out to 12 Big. You watched the trade recap. I know you did. I have a video on the channel showing you guys how to use the Frankie Candles indicator. And in that video, I showed you guys how I actually used this to enter a fire long. And it was a very similar setup to this, except we zoomed out, and not only did we feel the local range, but we broke out and then went much, 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 much higher, which was all part of the plan, which you could argue that there is a bigger plan for Gala as well, right? I'm going to sit on Gala for a minute, guys, because not only could this help you if you're trading Gala, but it could also just help you with your trading in general, right? You can apply this to any coin. So if you're already expecting a potential, like as long as the market remains bullish, right? And we do see the altcoins start to run, and we do get like this crazy alt season that may or may not be coming, very likely will once Bitcoin decides to like really pull back or really start to consolidate. You're going to be looking for Gala to start breaking towards its bull market range, right? Which is sitting up here at 17 cents. So basically how I worked with that Matic trade was I went down to the lower time frames, right? I found a local entry into the range, but things just took off, right? And then I zoomed out and said, well, hey, if this trade plays out, when I zoom out to the higher time frames, I already know it's not the exact same setup. I mean, this is definitely more risky, in my opinion. It's not as perfectly lined up. But, the idea here is if you're already expecting Gala to come up to the value area low, which is what I was expecting on Matic, you would not want to take profits on this little scalp, right? But, you have the opportunity that once you come to the top of this range, you could lock in partial profits and then hold it. With your stop loss at break even or your stop loss in profit, and just look for higher targets and just wait for them to come. So there you go. That's what I'd be looking at on Gala. Pretty nice setup in my honest opinion. All right, let's see. Okay, let's take a look at Gala. We just looked at Gala. Let's take a look at ICP. Bada boom, bada bing. And anybody who's curious, just to kind of go over that real quick, right? Matic long was entered in this tiny little range, but we knew that if we broke out of this tiny little range, we just looked at the context of the bigger profile, right? So we just look for the POC to get hit, which it did. Then you looked for the value area high to get hit, which it did. And then you're looking up towards the bigger ranges, right? Which is the value area low, POC, value area high. And what happened? We filled that range almost perfectly. I mean, you can't make that up. So this is just kind of how I put longer term context into the trades that I'm taking on lower time frames. Helps me know when to hold my trades for longer or cut them, right? This is what helps me let the winners run, right? This is also a very important part of trading. All right, so let's go ahead and continue on. Let's see. Yo, what is going on? I I'm just not going to ask questions. In chat here, seems like, yeah, I don't know. All right, let's continue on. All right, ICP. Bada boom, bada bing. A crowd favorite, I would say, right? I would say ICP is definitely a crowd favorite. People love ICP. And I love giving the saucy levels on ICP. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this. Now, to be quite honest with you, all of these levels are pretty valid, with the exception of this fib, I believe. Yeah, this fib is Garbo, and yeah, so we kind of have a lot to look at here. Not a lot to look at, but a lot of ranges to look at. So, and if you're wondering why I keep all these ranges on the chart, look no further than this, right? You deviate from the range. You know that sometimes when you break out of a range, you'll come back and retest the value area high before getting another bounce, or the POC before making another higher high. And you actually, I mean, every little dump here, right to the POC, I mean, right to the value area high, right to the POC, right to the value area high, right to the value area high, and then this one wasn't right to the value area high. But almost, you know, a lot of these dumps brought you right back down to a previous value area level. So if you weren't looking at this, sure, there might have been another level of confluence that lined up with it, but you could just see, like, this is why I look at these guys. Unbelievable. But this will be relevant if we come back down there. But for the time being, I would be looking, you know, at, obviously you have your macro range above, but locally, right now, we're stuck underneath this local volume profile. And let me actually just go ahead and get rid of that blue box. So as of right now, what I would be looking at would be, I'm going to pull from this low to the high. In my opinion, I would be looking at this as a saucy level. Bada boom. Let's do longs. And then obviously your golden pocket POC is going to be like another level that you could get a nice little bounce off of. But as long as you're stuck below this value area high, guys, you are going to be looking at this in the context of the volume profile. So if you get stuck under here, you're looking to go to the POC, which we already did. And then if you come up and test it again, you could potentially look to go to the value area low. I am more interested in a long at the value area low than the POC, just to be clear. And the fact that we've already hit the value area low, broken out, and now we're trying to get accepted back into the range, I do think it is more likely, you know, even if you get a bounce off this POC, if you stay in the range, it's going to be likely to come down to the low. So I don't even know if I put a blue box here. Maybe. I guess we could leave it, right, because you could scalp it. But this is the saucier level in my opinion. Now, above you, right, if you get a big breakout, simply put, like I'm not even going to cover this very long because we've looked at this so many times. If you get a break above, key level, 1574. Doorway to higher prices. You get above here and hold this as support. You're looking up to the POC at about $20. You flip that POC, you could potentially look up towards $45. Now, this is not going to happen quickly, right? It's not going to be like, oh my God, we're at the value area low, right to the POC. And then you flip the POC and you go right to the value area high. It's not how it works. It's going to be confusing. It's going to be scary, right? You're going to probably come back down. Oh my God, we're going to lose the range. Oh my God, we lost our, oh no, now we're back up. Oh, we flipped the POC. Oh no, now we're losing the POC. Oh no, okay, we're back up. But in hindsight, it's going to, like, there's very few volume profiles that I go back and look at that aren't like, oh, yeah, we got into the value area low, POC, and then we just nuked out of the range. Now, it's not impossible, but, you know, when you look in hindsight, if we are expecting at some point for ICP to hit $45, which we have up here, right, you know, this is likely going to be the roadmap that it's going to follow. Now, you obviously also have some intermediary levels, such as naked points of control, etc. But for me, the next major target for ICP is going to be about $19.90, almost $20 with our macro range POC. And that's what I would be looking at. And then on the day, 2-day red dot is printing. Right, so again, I'm keeping an eye on that $12.16 value area low for a potential bounce. But Frankie, what if we lose that range? Well, what happened last time we lost those ranges, right? You got to the value area high in the POC, the previous range. So if you really start dumping out of this range, simply put, guys, like these VPs, right, the volume profiles simply just make the job easy, right? Because if you lose this range, you're going to be looking at the value area high and the POC for a bounce. If you don't bounce off of those, you simply look down to the low. So there you go. Very, very nice, simple TA on ICP. Other than that, 2-day red dot could pull you back, so that's why I say keep your eye on the lower targets here. Locally, I wouldn't think it's impossible to bounce here. So again, kind of neutral right now, guys. Like maybe we kind of consolidate, but neutral on a lot of stuff right now. All right, let's see. Our next coin is going to be AMP or AMP, as some people say. The fancy people like to say AMP. Oh yeah, take a look at AMP. Let's see. What is going on? Free earplugs. Shout out to Harry Potter. Okay. Dr. Crimson's girlfriend said, oh my God, you guys are wild. Guys, what day is it today? It's not Friday, right? Okay. Whew, I thought it was going to be Friday. I was like, oh God, this week flew by. Let's take a look at AMP. Going to $1 million. Okay. AVAX. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. Let's take a look at the daily here. Bada boom, bada bing. All right. Let me see here. Okay, so 10 cents, June 21. All right, let's pull up the weekly levels. Bada boom. Oh, baby. Look at that. Oh, God, you just barely touched this level. Just barely missed it. Well, we'll put a level here. Also put another one right here. And then we'll select them both. Bada boom. Bada boom. Pull up the monthly. And there you go. Okay, so these are some pretty big targets. I would combine these two as they are very confluent. As resistance, I would also definitely watch that weekly naked point of control, and then we'll pull up the daily, and actually, dang, man, that is, what is that, 5-3, dang, all right. All right, well, you have a monthly naked point of control down here. I mean, this is a pretty long ways off, but these are the levels I would look at, right? On the in the macro, right? Still looking similar to, what was it, Cardano that looked like that? But yeah, to the upside, you guys can see what happened. I mean, obviously, on that big breakout, you know, if I had levels on AMP, I would be targeting this weekly naked point of control. As we know, those naked points of control act as magnets for price, right? So you get that breakout, you look up for the move up to the naked point of control. But as of right now, you know, if we do come back up and break that level, very strong resistance at between 0.022 and 0.021. Monthly and weekly naked points of control. Very, very big level to watch, especially if you're holding AMP long term. Not saying that you should like sell it there, but you know, I mean, depending on your strategy, this is going to be a very strong level of resistance. So keep an eye on that. And then other than that, I'm going to go ahead and let's cover the local price action, right? So this does look bull flaggy to me. So what we can do here is, yeah, I mean, if you look at this as somewhat of a range, right? And it is really funny, guys, right? Like, people always say, you know, bull flags break up, you know, X% of the time. I always see a different percentage. I don't think there is a real percentage, to be honest with you. There's people out there that say patterns don't work at all. I'm not one of those people. Patterns definitely work, but I just don't trade them alone, right? Doesn't mean you can't. But looking at this, right, like this is somewhat of a bull flag. But to me, right, all the TA winds up bringing you to the same place, guys. To me, this is not a bull flag. To me, this is a deviation below the range. And then this is where I'd be looking for the long position to get accepted back into the range and then go to the high. So I would definitely be looking at this. I don't know how likely it is to fill, but this is definitely these are definitely key levels that I would watch. Bada boom, bada bing, and then I'll grab the horizontal ray, and then we got the high, the POC, and the low. So if we hold above this level, look for the POC, very simply put. And then if we pull from the high to the low here locally, POC would be, in my opinion, a likely level of strong resistance with the 786 and POC confluence there. And then, let me see. These are, yeah, I mean, this, let me see. Yeah, this is what I would look for. So these are the key levels to the upside. Pulling up Market Cipher B. Let's take a look. So yeah, I mean, you did get the bull div here, right? Locally. I mean, not the strongest bull div ever, but you are getting back into the range, which is pretty nice. VWAT rolling over on your 45-minute. Let's check that 4-hour. Yeah, 4-hour looking for a green dot, and low-key could be setting up for a pretty nice bearish divergence, right? You get the bounce in here, you come higher, you take the highs. Well, take the highs, right? Higher highs on your price action, and then at that point, you might have a nasty lower high on your momentum wave, giving you some kind of a crazy bearish divergence. And this is still a valid level of resistance because we did not touch this. This is still indeed a naked point of control, a naked point of control. Shout out to Dr. Crimson's girlfriend. Anyway, please be safe out there, guys. But anyway, yeah, green dot about to print on the 4-hour. Take a look at the 15-minute. Very, very similar look as, what was it? I guess it wasn't Cardano. Was it Gala? I believe Gala was the one that had the 4-hour, 15-minute strategy potentially. Yeah, 4-hour, 15-minute, like very similar setup to Gala, right? So on AMP, you do have the bullish divergence here. Yeah, you have the bull div. You have the money flow coming up. And you have the 4-hour green dot about to print. Remember, the green dot on the 4-hour with the money flow crossing over into the green, the 15-minute, that 15-minute money flow crossover is typically where you see those big moves happen. So, yeah, very, very similar setup. I mean, to be quite honest, I mean, these are not trade setups, guys. I don't put these on the chart for you guys to take the trades, right? You should never just copy trade someone. You'll quickly lose all your money. And, you know, even if you won them all the time, you're not really learning anything. And as soon as that person stops giving you the setups, you're not going to be able to trade. And if the point is to become a profitable trader and make money consistently in crypto so you can quit your job and live your life and go travel the world and be a trader, if that's what you want. Maybe you don't want that. I don't know. But you know, I'm just basically saying don't just take these trades blindly, and you did just get a little pop to the upside. But you know, at this point, as long as you stay over the value area low, you could expect the POC or the value area high to come in. And if we go back to Gala, you can see, again, not telling people to take these trades. These are never meant as setups for you to take. And I mean that. I'm not being like sarcastic or like sneaky saying that. Like I really do mean, like, these are not, there is much more analysis that I would do on the order flow, etc. Sometimes, right? Sometimes I do just take the trade, but you know, oftentimes there's much more analysis that needs to be done to actually enter the trade. But this is just, if I were looking to trade this, I would go to the chart, look for a setup, look to enter a trade like this, but I would have to do the research to see if it makes sense to enter the trade. So, but you can see here, right? Like, this one's already starting to get a move here. You could also argue, right? Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, right? And then you could pull the neckline, right? Go from the neckline to the low, pull the breakout. It brings you back to the highs, right? So that would make sense. Again, not saying take that trade. I'm just saying, you know, it wouldn't surprise me, but I would still want to do more analysis. So there we go. There's a AMP. Let's go ahead and check AVAX real quick. Speaking of AVAX, how is COQ doing? Did COQ nuke today? Please don't. You're my only meme coin. Not really, but you're the one I believe in the most. Again, this thing could go to zero, guys. Do not buy this. This is you're likely to lose your money if you buy any meme coins. I just have to say that, right, to feel responsible. But yeah, okay, so not too bad. This thing's actually maintaining support a bit. Actually, is this thing's being kind of technical, kinda. Yeah, I mean, same setup here, guys. Almost the same exact setup, except you don't have the bullish divergences, so not really the same setup. But what happened here? I mean, again, this is COQ. This is a meme coin, guys. Like, this thing could nuke out of nowhere for no reason, right? But, you know, you don't have the bull div, which is why I always say meme coins do not necessarily trade technically, right? Like, because you got the bounce, but you don't have the bull div. It's messy. But now you're back in your range. Simply put, you would potentially be expecting to come back up to your high and your POC here. Again, not a trade setup. Just saying, you know, based off the volume profile. I just checked this selfishly to see if my meme coin went to zero. I do expect it every day to wake up and see it at zero. There is no reason for that to go up other than hype. But anyway, the reason I said that is because COQ is on AVAX. That's the thing that reminded me of it. But here we go. An actual legitimate project with good tech that would pump for good reason is AVAX, right? And I can say that because, you know, I can't promise that, but I can say it because AVAX is actually a legitimate project with good utility. Now, can I find the chart that I want? That's another story. Let's see. Bitcoin. KuCoin? Okay. Yeah, I guess this is what we were looking at. Take a look at the higher time frames. Okay. So I'm actually going to clear all the TA, and I'm going to pull some new ranges. And let me actually pull up Lux Algo really quickly. I'm going to take off the signals and overlays. Just want to look at the price action concepts. Okay. So if we do get a move down here, guys, you know, this is going to be a key zone to watch, right? Now, Are we expecting a massive move down? We have to find out. Maybe, maybe not. Probably not. But let's see. Bada boom. Okay, so if we do get a move down, you could look at the context of this volume profile. Value area high at 42.58, POC at 36.10, value area low at 31.92. Now, looking a little bit more locally, let's see. Let me check Market Cipher real quick. Yeah, man, like money flow doesn't look great. But again, in a bullish environment, you can't really take that. You kind of have to take that with a grain of salt. But you do have a 4-hour bull div. Confirmed. Money flow starting to come out. So could you wind up getting a little bit of a rejection here and going lower? Potentially. But again, this is why I like to look in context of the volume profiles, because if you pull your range here, you can see, right? Like you wouldn't want to just short here, right? Because you're at support for the most part, right? I mean, it's the same thing. You deviated below your range. You got the bull div. You came to your POC. You could potentially be going to the high. In my opinion, it doesn't, in my honest opinion, you got a fresh green dot on the 90-minute, fresh green dot on the 1-minute, 2-hour green dot printing. You actually have a nice little trigger wave here. So I wouldn't really necessarily be looking to short this at the POC. But if you do wind up coming deeper into your volume profile, you could, in my opinion, it would be acceptable to be looking for shorts as you test this golden pocket 786, because not only are you testing the highest likelihood area to put in a lower high and continue down, but you're also deviating outside of your range, right? So it makes it kind of safe to look for shorts on an overvalued asset to return back into the range and go to the value area low. So this is really what I'd be looking at on Avalanche, right? I'm not going to go over the macro levels right now, but locally, this is what I would be looking at. Get a little bit of a move up. Look for the resistance in the purple box. If you get it, you can look for the short down to the value area low. If it breaks down even more, then cool. You can take profit, move your stop loss to break even, and just watch it go down lower. But that is what I'd be looking at, right? Value, yeah, 52. Let me just mark these out real quick so you guys can just screenshot the levels if you want them. So there you go. Those are my levels for AVAX. All right, let's go ahead and continue on, and let's go ahead and check out Dago. I almost forgot about this. Shout out to $5 for Bitcoin. Dago, please. I see you, brother. I didn't forget about you. I didn't forget it. Well, I forgot a little bit, but I did remember. So shout out to you, bro. I wasn't going to leave you stranded. I got you. Yeah, I got you, brother. All right, let's check it out here. Dago. I just can't unsee Doge. It just keeps looking like Doge to me. It's just like, anyway, let's take a look at Binance Tether. Yes. Now, I don't know anything about this project. So I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it does. So I can't really speak on the fundamentals or technology. But what I can do is talk about the charts. It's the wonderful thing about the charts is we don't need to know about the tech because we can see everything we need to know in the charts. So let's see. Not the cleanest. Range, I mean, not the cleanest range. Let me take a look at the naked points of control. Let me go ahead and come back a bit. And, okay, so 272, bada boom. All right, so let me roll with some of these levels. Let me actually come up to the weekly. Bada boom. This is the weekly. Bada bang. Bada boom. So these are potential magnets to the upside. And yeah, we just barely front ran that weekly naked. Okay. Oh wait, actually this is not. Let's go back to our current price action. Okay, so these are tapped. So yeah, weekly naked point of control at 6066. Thank God there's not a third 6 on that. Let's pull up Market Cipher real quick. Pretty fresh money flow crossover into the green. Again, I don't know much. I don't know anything. I said much. I don't know anything about this project. But your weekly money flow crossover into this. So this looks very similar to a lot of the other alts, right? Like it's breaking out of its bear market range. And like the next real significant area I'd be looking at, it's probably going to be like right, yeah. Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of hard to find this range here. It's kind of wonked out. But this weekly naked point of control, I'll take these levels. They're not the prettiest, to be quite honest with you, but this is going to be strong resistance. We've already tested this level once, but the reason this is important is because it's the value area low of that not bull market range, really. Well, kind of. Again, I don't know if this is the oldest chart that we have on this, but this is bada boom. Yeah. So I'll be honest with you. Once you get up here, like, I mean, and like a lot of altcoins have already done this, right? They've already gotten to move up to their previous value area lows. If you get above this value area low, which is sitting at $6.87, again, assuming this is a good project, assuming it's not going to go to zero, assuming it's not a rug pull, I don't know anything about it. But if you get a bounce here, what I would be looking for, simply put, is honestly, I think you could potentially get a pretty quick fill of this range, right? I always say that it's likely to be messy and confusing before you get up there. But this one, in all honesty, doesn't have much volume in the middle of the volume profile. This is similar to one of the volume profiles that we were looking at on ETH, right? Because when you have your POC and your value area high close to each other, usually the POC is in the middle. It's kind of that crossroads where, like, are you going to continue through the rest of the range, or are you going to nuke from the POC and go to way lower prices? But in this case, your POC and value area high are up at the top of the range, making this like a super strong magnet, in my opinion, right? Like, this is how I see things. So we saw this play out on Ethereum, right? When we looked for, I don't remember exactly what range it was. It was like a local range. I think it was the May 2022 range. I'm not going to find it right now, but it's very similar, right? It's very likely to get a quick move up to that POC or value area high, especially when the POC is so close to the value area high, right? Just kind of gives you like two magnets, right? The POC acts as a magnet and the value area high acts as a magnet. But the POC, being the area where the most volume was transacted, is the strongest magnet within the profile, right? So when it's towards the top of the range, not only is it the value area high, but the super strong magnet is also sitting up there. So in my opinion, that makes it very likely to fill that range. And again, like, honestly, somewhat quickly. Because again, if you pull up that VPVR and you zoom in a bit, you know, you could see, like, do you have some levels in there? Come on, volume. There you go. Right? You have some kind of levels in there, but to be quite honest, right, like, there's not much here. You have a little spike here, a little spike here. But really, it's like pretty big gap, pretty big gap. So, you know, what I would expect is a quick move through here, get above here, quick move up to the high. Again, not instant, but, you know, quicker than normal. So there you go. $5 for Bitcoin. Much appreciated. No problem, brother. I'm sorry. I slipped my mind. I'm sorry I waited so long. You were probably sitting there like, oh my God, is he ever going to do it? We can't look at all the coins that are requested, but if I say I'll look at it, I really, really, really try to remember to look at it. So shout out to $5 for Bitcoin. Hopefully, if you make money on a trade here, you could put $10 in Bitcoin. So shout out to you, brother. But guys, with all that being said, I think that's all the time we got for tonight's live stream. I appreciate every single one of you guys for tuning in and sticking around till the end. Thank you all so much. Don't forget, go join the 0.02 Bitcoin giveaway. Like I said, it's the same thing that we've been talking about all week. That giveaway remains the same. And then on the live stream, we're going to give everybody a chance to just go enter another chance. And if you want two chances to win, you could do both, right? So shout out to the Mafia. And with all that being said, don't forget to smash that like button on your way out, guys. Thank you all for tuning in and sticking around till the end of the show. And let me just make sure I didn't miss any super chats. I don't think we did. We did miss a couple of altcoins. Unfortunately, we're not going to have time to go over them today. But Rob or Tyler or any of the mods in the chat, if we could add MOVR to tomorrow's list, assuming it's not a meme coin, Near Protocol to tomorrow's list, and LRC to tomorrow's list. I appreciate that. And with all that being said, guys, that's all the time I got for tonight's live stream. I'll see you guys here tomorrow, same place, same time, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Frankie Candles YouTube channel. That's all I got. Frank Candles out. Bing bong.
Look what's next for me, Joe. I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the is it? They should have had them two bells ready. Spit shine for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, don't know what is in me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in mine, yeah.
I say we take a look at Near Protocol right now. Let's jump into it. This one actually, yeah, shout out to Near. This thing is starting to move. But, I mean, what is going on Near, to be quite honest, nothing too unexpected. And, I mean, obviously we have this kind of head and shoulders formation. We have a technical target of basically the all-time high at about 1975. This is not the all-time. Is it the all-time high? Let's see. Yeah, okay. Well, I don't know if I have all the price history here, to be quite honest with you guys, but technical target sitting up here at about 2012, at about, we'll say 2020, great year. But I get rid of this. I simply put, I mean, really what is going on? We filled the first range. We knocked on the door of the second range. A little bing, a little bong, got back inside of it, and now we are on our way to where, that's right, the POC, which is actually, coincidentally, in the same exact situation of the last coin we were looking at, Digo, I believe, where our POC and our value area high are very close to each other, kind of making the top of the range a super magnet for price. And in my opinion, it is likely to get there somewhat soon, right? Not today or tomorrow, probably, but, I mean, let's see, your next key level of resistance, probably going to be sitting right about here at about 920, where you have this high volume node. And then basically there's really not much more in the way, to be quite honest with you. We'll take a look at some naked points of controls. Yeah, let's see. I think for the most part, like 920 is probably going to be like nearly the last significant level before the actual high of the range. Yeah, I mean, you do have like these naked daily points of control up here, but they're already super close to your POC and your value area high. So I wouldn't even really mark those out. So yeah, I mean, that is essentially what I would be looking at on Near Protocol in the long term. Yeah, I mean, 2-day kind of lingering, 16-hour green dot potentially looking to print soon. 10-hour green dot is currently printing. Let's check the 4-hour green dot confirmed. 15-minute green dot printing, money flow in the green. Let's check that 8-hour real quick. 8-hour green dot, 30-minute money flow crossed over into the green. Yeah, I have next key level on Near for me is definitely going to be this daily naked point of control. I can't. I'm just gonna have to do manually DMPOC. So there you go. Next target for me on Near locally is going to be $9.27. Or, I'm sorry, $9.20. There you go. Very clear. $9.20. So, guys, with all that being said, I think there's some quick analysis on Near. Hopefully that helped. I forgot who asked for it, but hopefully that helps you out. With all that being said, guys, that's all the time I got for tonight's live stream. I'll see you tomorrow. Same place, same time. You know the rest. 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You guys know what it is. That's all I got. Frank Candles out. Bing bong.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy. On the road, here we go, yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command, like, yeah, you about to see me on demand, like, you know, on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah. Maxed out,